Hey everybody, Yankee here. I just want to warn everyone right off the bat that today's video is going to be kind of a ranting stream of consciousness because there is a topic in the media right now that really has my panties in a bunch. It grinds my gears. And I'm talking about the Supreme Court case right now that revolves around whether people who have been charged with domestic violence or have a DV restraining order against them should be allowed to exercise their constitutional rights, more specifically their Second Amendment rights. Now, one of the reasons this makes me so irritated is because it's one of those topics where if you step back and try to be rational, you're going to be immediately painted as a monster. If you look at the reality, if you look at what's really happening, and you look at the real motivations behind the people trying to pass these types of things, you get accused of not caring about women. And that's garbage. A lot of people can be rational without being monsters. And as someone who has worked in the mental health field for many years, that's my profession, or at least it was, I can tell you right now that most of this issue is malarkey. It's garbage. This whole notion that every person who's been accused of domestic violence or has a restraining order against them is some sort of violent monster and it justifies violating their rights simply to protect the women, that's garbage. You're just creating victims for no reason in most of these cases. You're victimizing the man or the person who has that restraining order against them, usually men, who did nothing wrong. I personally have seen so many DV cases in law enforcement and in social services where men get in trouble for defending themselves. Someone's literally trying to kill you, your girlfriend, your wife, whatever. You grab her wrists and hold her and leave a mark on her. The cops show up. They press charges against you for domestic violence. It happens all the time. In fact, in my experience in casework, about 80 to 90% of the time, these big events end up being nothing. No big deal. And I'm not just saying, oh, the charges get dropped because the woman decides not to press charges. I'm saying the ones where police bring charges, there turns out to be no physical evidence of what they say happening. And there's no reality to the fact that someone was actually physically harmed. A lot of times these are revenge issues. So when you're brutalizing someone else to protect someone who doesn't really need protecting, you're not doing the right thing. And when you're taking someone's protections away from them, their constitutional rights and their protections of being able to be innocent until proven guilty, you're the bad guy. I'm sorry. No matter what you try to use as your justification, like protecting the women. And I'm not going to say there are not cases where women are in danger because it happens every day. Women are physically inferior in most cases to men. Men have a physical advantage. And in cases where there's bad relationships, a lot of times women get the short end of the stick. It happens. It's tragic. But it isn't something that validates throwing away one of the fundamentals of our society, which is that innocent until proven guilty, and it is the Constitution. And they want to toss both those just to save the women. Here's the reality. If most of these people on the left really wanted to save the women instead of just banning guns, which is their real goal here, they don't care about the women. Because if they cared about the women, they would say, hey, if you're a female and you've got a stalker or a violent ex, whatever, you need to get some training on awareness, how to protect yourself, how to use a firearm. All these things that would actually physically make you safer and give you more of an advantage if something goes wrong, they would be doing that. They'd be promoting that. They'd be, hey, we need to teach lessons in high school about how to have proper relationships and what red flags are and how to avoid them and build up self-esteem so that you don't do those types of things. You don't get in relationships with bad people. They'd be doing stuff like that. That would save more women's lives than banning guns for people who have been accused of a crime and stripping their rights away. In fact, a lot of times, speaking as a mental health person, I can tell you that if someone is borderline who would never do anything bad under normal circumstances, they wouldn't physically harm anyone, But now they've been branded with a scarlet letter when they didn't really do anything wrong, and they've had their rights removed. That can push someone to do something bad. So this is not a good idea from the beginning. Better police work is one thing we need when it comes to domestic violence. And here's the thing, if someone's actually committed an act of domestic violence that goes above and beyond the pale, I'm not talking about, someone was trying to claw your eyes out and you pushed them down. I'm talking you actually took advantage of your partner, physically harmed them, lock them up. Have actual punishments for actual crimes and take the time to prove the actual crimes. But people don't want to do that. They don't want to actually say, hey, let's do the work and make sure that guilty people get punished and that innocent people don't. They want to just pass these laws that say, oh, well, then this whole category loses their rights because a small percentage of them are monsters. And I won't get behind that. Period. It's stupid. It's un-American. Like I was saying, the vast majority, I would say in my experiences, the vast majority, 89%, like I said, are not monsters. These brandings of people as some sort of horrible thing just because someone else goes and gets a restraining order doesn't help. It actually hurts. Restraining orders themselves are in some ways useless because they only work against people that would leave you alone anyway. Someone who's not going to leave you alone and wants to physically harm you is not going to be deterred by a piece of paper. So they're kind of a feel-good bullshit thing anyway. But that's the thing. Anyone can go get one of these too. I could go down tomorrow and get a restraining order against the lady that lives down the street or the guy that lives down the street who's never even met me. They wouldn't even know about it until they were served with it. All I'd have to do is make up a little story. And then they'd be branded with this, like I said, scarlet letter until they prove otherwise. And they'd lose their rights in that meantime. So it's just a ridiculous thing that doesn't really protect anyone. Like I was saying, if they really wanted to protect women, they'd teach them how to be prepared, how to be more self-reliant, how to be able to defend themselves even when someone has a physical advantage. They would teach proper mental health in high schools, proper relationship issues. They would do stuff like that. But that's too much work and nobody gets rich off of it and no one pushes a political agenda with it. This is mostly just a political agenda that's anti-gun. It has nothing to do with protecting women, like I said, or else they do the things that would actually protect women. And the police would actually do their jobs and get people that are actual violent offenders off the streets. And here's the thing. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, a lot of times in the bad cases, they can't do that because the woman won't cooperate. She thinks he'll change or he'll be better. Well, then in that case, there's not much you can do. When someone's willfully a victim, they're willfully a victim. That person's probably not going to go get a restraining order anyway. That person's probably not going to file a domestic violence charge anyway. They're determined to be a victim for one reason or another. So you're not really helping that person either with this garbage. All they're doing is trying to further an anti-gun agenda without actually helping anyone. They pass these laws that say, hey, instead of doing the work and actually proving when someone's done something wrong, we just want to label anybody that might find themselves in a certain circumstance as bad and take their rights away. That gives the politicians and the police an out to where they don't have to say, well, we didn't do our job. It was clear he was abusing her, and we didn't want to step in and do anything because that's paperwork. And it's someone in the prison system that's not a high profit, prisoner. When you go along with stuff like this, these stupid blanket statements that all men are, potential monsters, and it's okay to punish them because they're men, and that's another reason. There's kind of a sexist reason here. Since most people charged with domestic violence and having that get domestic violence restraining orders against them are men, no one feels the need to protect them. They're men. Who cares what happens to men? But the reality is all people have the right to a fair trial. They have a right to not have their rights stripped to them based on just an accusation or circumstantial evidence. So if you really want to protect women, teach them how to defend themselves. Encourage them to learn how to defend themselves. I do it. I give women guns all the time through TYMP. A lot of the people who apply are single mothers. Maybe those people are going to protect themselves. But these people that want to protect the women, they want to do things like, oh, let's make them have a 10-day waiting period if their boyfriend threatens to kill them. You know, they don't care about the people. They care about pushing that agenda. So that's the message I want to get across. Not everyone who gets a domestic violence order against them is a monster. Most of them are innocent, and there's no justification for denying them their rights until they're proven guilty. Make the police and the politicians, the courts, do their job and punish the bad people. And don't allow them to say, well, it's better if we arrest 100 innocent people to get the one guilty person. No, that's not how it works. If we can punish 100 people and 99% of them are innocent, it's still worth it if we prevented that one person from doing something tragic. No, it isn't. And probably chances are you're not going to prevent that one person from doing something tragic because it's just a piece of paper. And people can kill without guns. So it's garbage. It's just a stupid idea from the beginning. You're just giving them an out. I personally would rather see a guilty person go free than I would see an innocent person prosecuted falsely. I always feel the guilty person will do something else wrong and they'll get punished eventually. Or they'll never do anything else wrong again and they got away with it. I'd rather that be the default than, well, let's just put everyone that might be bad. Let's punish everyone and then maybe we'll get the bad ones. That I don't approve of at all. And like I said, I believe in actually making women safe. These laws don't make women safe. They don't do anything for anybody. They just demonize an entire group of people that haven't done anything wrong in most circumstances. They don't protect anybody. They just push the anti-gun agenda. Hey everybody, please don't forget that this is November, which means we are doing Toy Guns for Tots 2023 throughout the entire month. So if you want to help out, if you want to donate, please go over to tympistolproject.com. There's a link in the upper corner of this video. You can either donate directly or you can buy merchandise. If you donate directly, for every $20 you raise for Toy Guns for Tots, you will get one entry into a drawing at the end of the fundraiser for at least one Glock Gen 5 G20. You can also get entries into the drawing by purchasing the ornament that is available over there, or buying the t-shirt that says, I donated to Toy Guns for Tots and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. Both of those items also come with an entry into the drawing at the end of the fundraiser. Or you can just buy some merch from the Toy Guns for Tots store and show your support for the program. All the profits do go to support Toy Guns for Tots. Also remember that we are still doing TYMP, the Yankee Marshall Pistol Project. If you feel that you could benefit from it, go over to that same link up in the corner, tympistolproject.com, and register. If you have no need to benefit from TYMP, but you would like to support it, go on over and buy any general merchandise that is not Toy Guns for Tots merchandise, and all those proceeds will go to fund TYMP. There are new designs over there all the time. I try to add at least one design every week so people have choices. So go on over, pick up some merch, and support the Yankee Marshall Posse Pistol Project.